In this unit, you're going to learn about the three major types of fractions. The first one is proper fractions, where the numerator, which is the number on top, is smaller than the denominator, which is the number on the bottom. For example, 1/2 is a proper fraction because 1 is less than 2. The next type of fraction is improper fractions, and this is where the numerator is either equal to or greater than the denominator. So for instance, 6 is greater than 5, so that's improper, and 10 is equal to 10, so therefore that is also improper. Finally, we have mixed fractions, and this consists of a whole number, such as this 1 here, and a proper fraction. So 1/2 is a proper fraction because 1 is less than 2. Alright, so try a few examples. First one, the number 2 and 3/5. Which type of fraction is this? So this would be a mixed fraction because it has a whole number and a proper fraction. Try one more. The number 9/9. 9/9 would be an improper fraction because the numerator is equal to the denominator. Now let's talk about equivalent numbers. Equivalent essentially means equal. It's basically two ways of representing the same number. So this first example here, we would write this as either 4/4 or we could write it as 1 because it's one whole circle, but it's divided into 4 parts, so we can write it as 4/4. Similarly, down here below, if I count up all of these pie pieces, there's 8 in each of these. So I have a total of 16 slices, and each of these has 8 slices in it. So this could be represented as 16/8. However, I could also just write this as the number 2, because it's 2 whole numbers. Now you try. Imagine I have 4 whole circles, but I divide each of them in half. How many halves do I have? In this case, 4 would be equal to 8 halves because each of these has 2 pieces, or 2 halves, for a total of 8 halves. And now the other type of equivalent numbers we can have are mixed numbers and improper fractions. So for instance, this first image here, you see that there's one full circle divided into 2 halves and then 1/2. So we could write that as a mixed number as 1 and 1/2, or we could write this as 3 halves. So how do we make that conversion? To make this conversion, I would multiply the denominator times the whole number. So I would write 2 times 1, and then I would add the numerator, which is this right here, so I would add the 1, and then the denominator just stays the same, so I just keep the 2. And 2 times 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, so the answer is 3 halves. Now let's try the same thing with the bottom one. So we have 1 3/4. The question now is, how would we write that as an improper fraction? Well, we would need to multiply the denominator times the whole number, which would be 4 times 1. Then we would add the numerator, all of that over the denominator, which doesn't change. So the answer would be 4 plus 3, which is 7 over 4, or 7/4. Okay, but now what if we need to go the other direction? What if we need to change an improper fraction and convert it into a mixed number? In this case, we're going to take a look at the improper fraction, the 3 halves, and I'm going to divide the 2 into 3. 2 goes into 3 one time with a remainder of 1. So the way that I would write this now, the quotient goes here, that becomes my whole number. The remainder becomes the numerator of the proper fraction, and the divisor becomes the denominator. Okay, now let's try the second one. So the process is I need to divide 4 into 7, 4 goes into 7 one time, and it leaves me with a remainder of 3. So how would I write the mixed number? I would need to write it as 1 3/4. And that's all for this one. Bye-bye.